This is the Derwent Estuary, and in the distance is Storm Bay, and beyond that, Antarctica. Storm Bay is one of the roughest salmon growing areas in the world, and it's the site of a proposed expansion of salmon farming of up to 80,000 tonnes per year. In perspective, our current production is about 70,000 tonnes. But on the island of Frøya in Norway, they produce 250,000 tonnes in an area slightly larger than Brunei Island, which is off to my left, out of a total Norwegian production of 1.4 million. So in world terms, 80,000 tonnes is a drop in the ocean. Flanagan cites this graph from the Derwent Estuary program submission into the marine farming branch for the Storm Bay expansion. And so just a little aside on this one, the predicted nutrient loads that the Derwent Estuary program predicted here, they admitted were based upon 2003 feed conversion ratios. Now, feed conversion ratios in 2021 are at least 15%, possibly even higher, better than they were in 2003. So it's a small point, but this figure here, all of these figures here, should be at least 15 to 20% lower. But never mind, let's move on to the more concerning issue of heavy metals. And Richard Flanagan cites in his book that the Derwent Estuary in the 1970s was poisoned to close to the same levels as Minamata Bay. Well, he even cites a reference for that. So let's have a look at the reference that he cites. And here it is. Oh, it's an editorial. It's an opinion from a newspaper, ironically called the Mercury. Mercury levels just short of those measured in Japan's Minamata Bay. Well, let's actually question that, because that's a pretty big allegation by Richard Flanagan that the deaths and illnesses that were caused in Minamata Bay are the same that's going to result in Tasmania. So let's look at the pollution levels of Minamata Bay. And from this reference here, we can see that in concentrations in 1963, the dry weight mercury concentration in Minamata Bay was 29 to 713 parts per million. In 1969, there were 908 parts per million. And in 1970, there were 253 parts per million. And in 1971, 586 parts per million. Well, the Derwent Estuary program's own report in the State of the Derwent Estuary 2015 cites levels of mercury in the Derwent River and estuary. And unfortunately, we have to look sideways here, but here we can see 1975, the concentration of mercury was 111. So we've got 586 in Minamata Bay, 111 in the Derwent. By 1996, it was 55.7. And then these are the maximum figures with the averages. In 96, 36, 2000, 130 with an average of only 10. And in 2011, 48.3 maximum with an average of 8.5. So I'm sorry to base your argument on an emotive opinion piece in a newspaper called The Mercury, alleging that the Derwent Estuary is polluted to the same level of Minamata Bay, is just purely horrifying. And it's insulting, it's offensive, and it's just plain wrong. It's designed to scare people.